all the same. It just can't just be a thing.
Where do you reckon you got that from?
Mum.
Yeah?
Mum can't relax.
Oh, she can't relax. That's like my
She
mum.
needs to keep going. So.
But there's a difference with them. They're like very structured, and you're like, you've always grown up to be the type to.
I've never been with the grain, ever.
Yeah.
I've always been against it.
You know what? Like, come to think of it, growing up, I was very I went to uni, I went to school. Everyone.
Same as my sister.
Yeah. We were. I think it was ingrained in us from when we were young, and we're the eldest as well. I think the youngest one at least has that time, like joy, to learn off the
first one.
Yeah, the first one.
I think they realised, he's definitely not going to uni. After a while, they're like that.
No, they knew in high school.
Yeah.
Salute.
Salute, bro.
What's up, fam? No, that was stupid. I hate these intros.
What's it called again?
Well, my YouTube channel is called Start Somewhere Media.
Yeah.
But then I call this Word From Home.
Word From Home.
And it's a little play. I don't think I've ever explained it on a podcast.
What's up, guys? Word From Home. Get Joseph Laquian from here. He's going to give us the intro, you know.
There we go. Yeah, I don't think I've ever explained it on a podcast why I called it Word From Home, but it's wordplay from work from home. But it's also good because at the time when I was doing it, you know what? I didn't even think of it, but Ali or you, were like my first guest when I was thinking of doing these things online when we were doing it on Instagram Live. Yeah, but now it's cool because I still called it Word From Home, and I'm here at your place now, and I'm like, we sit down, we just talk about your life and your story. And like I was saying earlier, we speak to athletes, artists and creators if you've been here before. And we give them that platform to share their story, just to inspire the next generation to chase all their dreams, pursue their passions, because that's who I like talking to, people that are very passionate about something that they like to do, and that they love, and they've turned it into their life. Like they've gone and chased it instead of settling and then having it as a hobby, but it's more like they've made it into the life. Like some of the fighters that we had, they've been world champions, and they really went on and pursue it. And that's what Andre is doing now. That's why I really want to sit down with him, because we've had talks through Instagram Live, but the past few years we've gotten closer again. But we were like this back in the day, like when we were young, growing up in Blacktown. Yeah, Andre, tell us about what's been happening. How have you been?
Been good. Been super busy. Just trying to. So if some of you may or may not know, I am actually a carpenter by trade.
Yeah.
We're not here to talk about carpentry, because that was just something to pay the bills, to do that. But I can't even remember how many years ago now, but I've always had a passion about being behind the camera. It's actually weird being in front of the camera.
Yeah, I could tell, and I can tell because like we were just kicking back earlier, and then like he kind of like shelled up a little bit. Like it's different, but you know what? Like my intros, I know I started through my intros, and it takes a while to get comfortable doing them. And how many episodes have we done now? Like 20 plus, and I'm still stuck on like, welcome to my episode. I just want to just kick back and talk, but it takes a while to warm up. Now he does his own content creating and for other small, medium-sized businesses, and with the drone and everything. Yeah.
Even getting large businesses now, which is actually
large.
Cool. Even coming back to that, the talking part, I've always been a massive advocate for growth, personal growth, hustle or business. I've always been into that. Yep. So it's not something that's just popped out of nowhere. It's something I've been working on in,
over a decade.
I reckon more than a decade I've been working on it. I've done countless business courses to work on the best investment is in this.
Yeah, yeah.
So, but yeah, I thought, look, there's too much inspiration out there to not want to do what you want to do. So that's why I thought, you know what, I'm going to chase what I want to do. I love being behind the camera, whether it's videos, photos, drone, whatever it is. Guys, you can follow my page, Andricoo Productions.
That's the one.
And the name's Andre. I know everyone. It's so funny. I go on shoots now, and they call me Andricoo, and I'm like, it's not actually my name. It's just a little nickname. Not name's Andre.
No one.
I have to introduce myself.
I don't know anyone that calls him Andricoo. I think he's the only one that calls himself Andricoo.
That was actually my mother-in-law.
Huh?
My mother-in-law.
She calls you Andricoo.
Yeah. That's where I got the name from, really.
So you're just paying homage. Yeah, you're just trying to suck up.
Yeah. Well, I didn't want to do Andresito, which is thing, because it's in Spanish. It's
your parents call you Andre. Yeah?
Andre, yeah, but you can't spell an accent.
Yeah.
At least when people see Andricoo, they automatically assume that it's Spanish.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, this guy's really trying to.
Yeah. I'm just trying to educate, because especially in Western Sydney, there's not many South Americans at all.
Except for Fairfield area.
Yeah, Fairfield, that's South America. That's little South America. Yeah. They're everywhere there.
We grew up at a Blacktown, and that's why I think I don't know if I mentioned it earlier, but when I was traveling out in the US and everything, I'll tell people. This was before Chelsea. I would tell girls like, oh, yeah, I'm half Chileno. Like, this is where it comes from, because we grew up together. His mum and dad's like another, parents to me as well, like other parents to me. And we did everything together growing up as kids. And it's been cool that we've got to like...
Different cultures.
Yeah, different cultures and...
are quite similar in a lot of things.
Yeah, because of the Spanish background. But it's been cool. Like, we used to have... I used to have dinner at his place every night, and then I would go back home and have dinner at my place. That's why I was short of
I'd go eat at his place too, yeah. We'd get 2 dinners, 2 breakfasts. Best thing was coming back from school and your mum had the big plate of chips with chicken salt. Oh, what I would do to have that right now.
With some tomato sauce. This guy put tomato sauce and everything. He'll make mee goreng, put tomato sauce, have 2-minute noodles, drain out the soup, put in tomato sauce.
Hence why I'm a big thing about growth. I don't do tomato sauce anymore.
I'm on barbecue sauce. It took him 30 years. But it was cool growing up together. And for me, like I want to be able to, I want to say it now, like it's been cool that it's come full circle that because he's getting into content and I start somewhere media, and that we have the interest, and like I try and ask him questions about things. I even spoke to him before I started somewhere media. I was like, oh, I have this idea where I interview people that that are pursuing their passions, and it's been 2 years now.
2 years?
Yeah. Fuck. Well, COVID.
Shit,
when the world shut down, I had a lot of time to think. I wasn't just working 9 to 5 and going to the office, and I had a lot of time to think of what are some things I could do. And I found my passion in doing this, being able to talk and sit down with a lot of people since then. But yeah, tell us more about Andricoo Productions, how everything's been, how you got the idea.
How I got the idea? Look, I've always been I've been in business for a while, in several businesses, but so the business side of things was never a phase for me. It was just another business on how to run it and stuff like that. Like a lot of the principles are a lot of the same.
Yeah.
But doing the passion, it's weird. It's weird, like to go to a job and to not actually feel like it's actually work. When I say like I'm going to work now, like the transition like this year has been like, yeah, I'm going to work. Like my family's looking at me like, going to work now? And I'm like, not on the tools, like on the cameras, like it's different. It's a different thing, I had I got this young kid that came out and did a shoot with me yesterday, and we finished the shoot. We were there for about a couple of hours, and we got in the thing and got paid, gave him his money, and he's like, bro, and I said to him, does it feel like work? He goes, no, because it's weird. Like it's a weird transition. I'm still getting used to like not having to, get tools out or to having to speak to builders and stuff like this. And that's like having to get materials. Like it's just a different story. I'm like, cool, I just talk to my clients. It's again, like a lot of the business principles are the same, from like organizing to you know, make sure you send your invoice and all this stuff. But like just being able to create what I love to do is amazing. A lot of my clients, the freedom they give me to be able to create what I want to create, and they love to see that. You know, it's a different world. I'm a big believer in the universe, so having the power, if you can sort of figure out how to tap into that, it's scary.
But it's hard for some people. I think that some people haven't even found that passion yet, even in the...
And it's true.
You know,
It's
like
true.
40s, 50s, some people just haven't. But once you do, really go for
Well,
it.
look, to be honest, I didn't... Look, say in my early 20s and stuff, when I first started like working on my mindset and doing business seminars and stuff like this, and I did not...
Still do know.
I did not think to be doing videography
Yeah,
and
yeah,
photography at all. I actually started off just doing videos.
Yeah.
I never thought I'd be doing photography. And yeah, now like a lot of some of my jobs are just photographies. There's no videos at all. So it's crazy. Like it's just sort of happened, and it's not something that I just have to sit and think about and be like,
How
what?
did it start?
Yeah, what do I do? It's like I sort of just did it.
Yeah.
Like I honestly, like the first camera I had was my GoPro 4.
Yep.
And I used to do little videos doing all the holidays I used to do.
Yeah.
I used
And
to
then
just make little clips, and I used to
probably
put
that's
together.
how that spark
That's
will
how it
start.
and I was like, that was so cool.
Yep.
I didn't think you could make a living off it.
Yeah, and that's cool. I also think that it's kind of in your DNA, in your blood, because your dad, he's talked to us since we were kids, but he would tell us like even before he moved to and migrated to Australia, he was a photographer himself.
That was
And that was
scary
his-
as well. Yeah.
That was his passion. So
Yeah.
it's probably in your DNA for you to be doing this. If you really break it down and think of it that way. I spoke to your dad. Tito Omar is like one of the men in my life that I hold close. And I was talking to him, I like just talking to him. And I asked
he likes
him...
talking. He loves talking.
Loves it. I was like, why didn't you... Like, there's a difference between... Why didn't you pursue that when you come home? Like, you could have still done it, you know? Instead of... I wouldn't say settle, but like, just do a job and then go home. Like, you could have done something with it if it was really your passion. But he was saying that it was hard back then. Now, there's unlimited potential to do these types of things.
I think back in the days it was, you know, when a lot of the immigrants came over, they all came around at the same time.
Yeah.
And it was just about just putting food on the table. It
Yeah,
wasn't about
yeah.
passion.
At the start.
Passion didn't exist.
But that. I've spoke to other people about that. We are the generation, because our parents sacrificed everything for us so that we have these options to... Could you imagine just travel however many weeks, like from the bar job you had, or like I had, and I don't know what you used to do back in the day, like just to travel with your friends or with your missus for like 6 weeks, 4 weeks. Like they never had that option because they needed to survive.
Literally.
We are the generation, like we have to take full advantage of all the sacrifices that they did.
And there's generations now that are like starting from when our parents started.
Yeah, even before.
There's so many people that I've met over the years, and they're like, yeah, I just flew over a few weeks ago. And I was like no family, nothing. It's like, yeah, and I'm just like, okay, it makes sense. So like they're doing this job and they're doing that. And I'm just
it
like,
makes
it's
sense.
crazy.
But we need to take full advantage of everything that they've done for us, paved the way. And
100%.
tell us a little bit more about your upbringing. I know a fair bit about it, but like, tell us about in your...
In Blacktown, there's actually different parts in Blacktown. You know, you had your sort of like Marion side, you had your Prospect side, you had your Seven Hills side. We were on the side of the Dune side. So I always say, like, we grew up on the border, on the borders of Blacktown, Dune side. Like, we walked a couple of minutes and we were in Dune side.
Yeah. So we had friends. That bus, 725.
725. I actually could not remember the number, but 725. Wow, it's actually...
But I would tell people, I live in Huntington Heights.
It's funny, like when we were back then, we used to say we lived in a nice area, but it was, you know...
Where we live is like not that bad.
Not that bad, but there was just bad things that happened around
it, yeah.
Yeah, like we lived in a cul-de-sac. So cul-de-sacs are quite they're quite close with everyone, and mate, we had some shit going on. I don't know if we can swear on this, but
It's all good. YouTube, there's no rating. Well, this isn't on ESPN yet.
yeah, we had a lot of shit going. But like growing up, I thought it was normal until I've spoken to a lot of other people that grew up in different areas,
Yep.
and they, you know, just tell them like little stories when we were kids and doing this, and they're like, that's a normal thing? I'm like, yeah,
No.
like that's, you know,
Yeah.
like there was this one little story that happened. There was an alleyway we used to walk to get to our bus stop to go to school every day, and they scared to, yes, apparently there was a guy with a hammer and he attacked a woman.
Oh yeah, that was one. Yeah,
in the alleyway. Yes, like I think he attacked her and then she ran and she went to the first neighbour.
yeah.
In our hood, like everyone knew each other in
Yeah.
our little suburb there.
Well, back in the day, not anymore.
yeah,
Everyone's new now.
Not now, yeah. And we have to walk through this alleyway every time. So when we heard about this story, we'd get off the bus, we'd fucking run.
Yeah.
Like we just didn't want to know about it.
Yeah, it's crazy, huh?
Yeah.
But we were so. It was like normal.
Mm.
It was, and there's been countless stories since then.
I think we're oblivious to it.
Yeah, but there's been countless stories to people that we know and know of, that things have happened or things that the area that we did grow up, we thought it was normal, but like to other people, some of the stuff that we've heard or seen, or people that we've literally like first contact friends or old friends that we grew up with, so many things. It doesn't seem, what would you say, like civilized in a way?
Civilized, yeah, that's the one. We had that kid across the road. He was about your age. Was he? I think his name was. I don't know what his family was into, but there was a lot of parties and stuff. It probably wouldn't surprise me if they were drug dealers or the trap house or whatever it was. But
that's funny. This is gonna get around to them.
Yeah. And yeah, it was a lot of shit we heard in there. There was a lot of drama. Look, there was probably a lot of gunshots we heard there, but I never saw anything. It's just something we heard. It was actually weird the other day. Even here, like we were sleeping and all of a sudden we heard this bang. I was freaking out.
Yeah.
And it actually, like when I heard the bang, like I woke up and I was in my room in Blacktown. And I was like, holy, like it just really brought me back. I was like, that sounded like that gunshot. It sounded like a gunshot. I was like, fuck, that was crazy. Because back then there was nothing on the news. Yeah, no one talked about it. Now there's a gunshot. Everyone knows about it. Yeah, everyone in Sydney, Australia knows about it.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was. It really gave me a like, wow, it was scary to wake up and to actually feel like I was in my little 1x1 bedroom here, you know. With a double bed, but yeah. I
don't know if you feel the same, but I feel more comfortable in the area, like Blacktown, than if I went to, I don't know, North Shore or something. Like, I feel more comfortable walking down Blacktown Station than getting off at Croydon or something. You know what I mean?
It's true. It does always. Every time I go back into like West Point or even around Blacktown and that, like I don't feel really phased for it.
Yeah. It's home.
It is. Like it just, you know, like there's bound to, if someone was ever to do anything, like there's bound to be there's some connection.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
But it's well, you feel so comfortable there.
It is.
Yeah.
It is, you know, and it's just, look, even back then, all these gangs and stuff now.
Oh, it's crazy.
A lot of this beef.
I think about it.
Like I'm not mentioning any particular people, but certain suburbs, like
it doesn't make sense. It
makes no sense.
Yeah,
it makes no sense to me.
Sense.
Like, bro, like we went to Paddy's where there was people from all sorts of the same, all type of suburbs in the same school, and they were all friends.
Yep.
They were all friends. So to see a lot of this stuff now, it just, how it's escalated, I don't know if it's probably driven by ego or something, but I feel like if a lot of these people realize what they could accomplish if they actually combined, you'd be up ahead like we don't want to be following the American footsteps where, you know, stuff like Compton and stuff like that. You know, I hear about the stories and stuff over there, and I'm like, nothing's changing. But except we want to follow that. I don't understand why we want to follow those footsteps when we can rise above that so much quicker.
Even beyond that, I think all the music that's being put out there, I think it's great in a way where, you know, how much it's grown, right?
Oh,
but I just think that, in Australia, just the highlight of it kind of amplifies everything. And a lot of these kids want to, younger generation that look up to them want to continue that.
It's true. Well, look, back in the day, it was all about, I mean, the only opportunity was footy players. Like to be a footy player, to actually, that was, you made it sort of thing. And again, it's still an amazing achievement, but now, like, especially the music industry, it is doing amazing things. I think, personally, 2019 was a great year for Australian Australian
hip-hop.
music, hip-hop, rap. It was a great year because it's sort of, the whole world heard about it. And honestly, it was like a little mini earthquake.
Yeah.
And it was like, whoa, we need to keep an eye on Australia because there's a lot of stuff happening here.
Yeah.
And which gives a lot of opportunity for a lot of people, businesses, creatives, to be able to put this out there to the world. But yeah, it is definitely amazing. You know, you don't have to have an athletic ability. You know, there's so many other ways to do this. Like I know a lot of people that are doing really well in their own genres. It's not just music, or it's not just being footy.
That's what I was going to say.
There's so many
things that you could do. And I talk to Vita about this sometimes. And I'm just like, there's so many things that I wish that they knew. That's why we need to put it out there, that there's so many things that you could be great at. Why would you put yourself in that? And I know they come from, and we talk about, like, they come from homes that we would never be able to. Like, we lived a great life compared to, like, our childhood was not bad. It was in an area that was...
It's our surroundings.
Yeah. But we had a good childhood, right? But there are things that they see that we will never be able to understand, that we've never seen. That's why they grow up like that. But there needs to be more sparks out there for them to understand that there's so much more that they could do with their life. You know, be inspired.
I think it does take that first initial spark when somebody either meets or sees someone doing something.
Yeah.
And then they're like, hold on a sec. Like, if someone like that can do it,
bro,
why can't I do it?
Yeah.
It's the same mentality. If I don't know if you've heard the theory of the big brother, little sister sort of thing, where, you know, the little sister always looks up the little brother, and, you know, he can walk. If he can walk, I can walk too. And then they eventually walk, and it's the same human mentality.
Yeah.
So I think it's like I still remember, like, the first guy that I ever saw, and he was a multi-millionaire, and he was only a few years older than me, and I was like,
yeah. Crazy, huh? There's so many people that are our age,
legitimately.
Millions, yeah. Speaking on that note of, like, to be able to see someone doing it, and how crazy is it? Like, I always talk about with friends and family, like, to see Tai Tuivasa,
Bam Bam,
and Bam Bam, and your good friend Tyson be out there on the world stage. You know, like, it's not just Australia.
No.
It's not just even if they were doing great on Bellator, that'd be cool, or PFL, that'd be cool too. But the UFC, like, we grew up watching that as kids. I talk to my friends all the time. We grew up watching that. We played the games. We played UFC 1 when the UFC and the sport was just growing. And Bam Bam to be doing it the way he's doing it as well, you know, being himself. Oh man,
I love the fact that the world knows about Western Sydney.
Yeah, because they are like...
I love it. Like, Bam Bam, he couldn't... I don't think he could do it any other way but himself.
Yeah.
Like, could you imagine him trying to talk proper and all that? I'm like, that's not him. Like, why would you want to be someone else? Yeah. He did himself. He started doing these shows because it's fun for him. That's what he loves to do.
He loves to party.
And he's rocked the world with it.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
And that's the best part. It's just like, It's funny seeing Americans in the crowd
Yeah.
during the fights.
And
Like,
they're like, yeah, do the shoot. And I'm like, yeah, well, like this is normal thing. Like this is breakfast for
I
us.
still wouldn't do it, but I still wouldn't do it. But like, yeah, it's good that he's doing it. You know, like
It's even better, you know, like 10
Yeah,
strangers all spit in the same shoe. Like,
That's messed up, but yeah, I'm so proud of those guys whenever I see them, and I'm just like, it's just so crazy the potential that you can reach and the limits that you can reach. These guys, literally, yeah, man.
and they're still,
Props to the boys. Shout out to Bam Bam and Tyson
yeah,
and
they're doing
everyone,
boys.
all the guys from the area that are doing big things around the world. That's why I'm saying like those guys would be big inspirations to these kids.
I know.
That's the inspiration you should be looking up to, you know?
Literally.
That's the stuff.
I don't know if they've talked about their stories about the thing, but if you knew a lot of their things that they you know they had to go through as a teenager and growing up, like you'd be amazed.
They
You'd be
do
amazed.
little pieces, but we're gonna get them on Word from Home or on our little. we'll get
to come.
We'll
to
get
come.
the story. It's coming. We'll get them. I want to know. I try and think of it. What did you want to be growing up? Like if you think about it now.
Honestly, I couldn't even tell you. I've got like it's just blank.
Uh,
It was about just surviving. I think that mentality that my parents brought on me just to have a job, all
Yeah.
this stuff, because I never had like allowance. I think mum would give me maybe $10,
what a day.
Nah.
Oh,
like maybe a month. Maybe a month. Well, back then it was good. You can get a lot of things for $10 back then. But now it's like $10 for a coffee these days. But when I was 14, I got my first job, Domino's Pizza Blacktown was my first job. And mate, I did myself. I cooked my own food from then on. I did everything on my own.
yeah.
But I think the independence plays a big role in it, depending what age. I know a lot of people that, you know, their independence doesn't start until, you know, their early 20s, late 20s. Oh, even some people I know, 30, like it just, you know, and again, everyone's at that different chapter in their life, but
Yeah.
but yeah, just constantly just chasing paper.
Yeah, that's what you're doing.
And yeah, but that's you don't know any better. So I think it was in my early 20s when I started doing a lot of business courses and stuff like this. And there was this one guy I heard, and he goes, man, if you chase the paper, you'll be like a dog chasing your tail.
Yep.
Constantly. It does not stop. But when you start chasing your passion, it's scary. Like you're doing something you love to do, and the money just keeps coming in, and you just start to be like, this is why it doesn't feel like work.
Yeah, that's.
It's, I don't know, it's still uncharted territory for me. You know, I spent 16, 17 years on building sites, working my ass off, and like, and I worked hard. Like, don't get me wrong. Like, it's not like I'm lazy or anything like that. Like, I go hard, being on the tools. Ask any chippies or builders I've ever worked for. I'm still getting calls from builders and chippies to come work for them. I'm like, nah, that's it. So it's weird to be from something, and then imagine like you lived in water your whole life, and then all of a sudden you got out, and you're just like, what the hell? Like you look at the water, but you don't go back ever again. And you're walking land. You're like, this doesn't feel right. But like you love it so much. You're like, wow, like I'm not wet. You know, I get to walk. Like it's very uncharted territory for myself. But I promise, where, you know, if you even haven't even found your passion
And it's
yet,
cool that,
if you haven't even found your passion yet, like it will come. You'll know exactly. You'll be like, you know what, I want to do this. And it just literally it's like any business, even like fucking, you know, as little, not even little, as big as TikTok and Instagram and stuff. If you keep posting the same thing, it's the same. You eventually will grab traction. I was telling a mate the other day, I said, if you jumped on TikTok and you went out and did 1 push-up a day, and you did that 3-4 times a day, you posted that video, you would be known as the one push-up man, and you would get so famous. As silly, as stupid as it sounds, I hope someone takes this idea. Like, I really like, please. I hope someone takes this idea and actually just proves this. You'll be surprised on what grabs traction.
Yeah.
Like TikTok, oh.
Yeah.
That,
especially with that algorithm and everything.
Oh.
I don't get why more people don't use it that way. Or
I think, again, it's new territory for a lot of people. I urge a lot of businesses to jump on top of that.
Yeah, for sure. And LinkedIn, because it has that same type
I only
of
just got
algorithm.
LinkedIn maybe a couple months ago.
That's good.
That's weird. That's weird for me. Like, I look at LinkedIn now and it's that professional world.
No, there's a lot of untapped territory on there. And let's talk about, like, there's a lot of people that got fear, like there's a lot of fear for them not to go and chase that thing. You know what I mean? You know what I'm talking about?
I've got a big thing about fear. Don't get me wrong, I have a lot of my own fears.
Yeah.
Even,
we all do.
Yeah. I have a lot of not tactics, I have little things that I've heard to go along the way. I heard this guy talk. Again, like, everything is just from stories I've heard or people I've seen and met. There was this one guy, he was on a stage and he was talking about, his whole subject was around fear.
Yep.
And he talked about, there's a whole different, like, he goes, there's no difference between, say, Muhammad Ali or some of the greatest in our world here that have fear. They have fear. Promise you they have fear. They're human beings.
Yeah.
But it's the way they conquer it and the way they deal with it. So what he was talking about was fear. Is like, the main point to get to this is, as he's talking, there is this humongous anaconda being put on his shoulders. And he's petrified of anacondas, snakes in general. And as he's talking, his voice starts like stuttering, just like the tone is stuttering. And he's trying to talk like this. And what he's saying is that the only difference between people that succeed and people that don't is that we do it anyway, regardless. The only way to beat fear is to build that tolerance. And the way to build that tolerance is to do something every day that scares you. Yeah. I'm talking the smallest thing. Like when Jem told me, like, we were going to catch up for coffee this morning and jump on a podcast. I have I've got a little thing for myself. If I get challenged to something that scares me, I have to do it regardless. Yeah. And I was like, oh, fuck.
Going out of your comfort zone.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But again, like, if there's something that you're scared of, like if you're too scared to ask the waiter for an extra water, like I'm talking little things like that. If you do that every single day, or there's this girl that you see at the gym and you two talk to, like, go up and just say hello to her. It's the smallest little things and they go bigger and bigger and bigger. So when it gets to points where there's big fear, it's like, cool. You get used to the habit of actually doing things that you fear of. Yeah. So again, like, people that have the fear, it's not going to change. Yeah. Look, I'm still afraid of heights. I'm a carpenter. I used to jump on roofs, and that was a big thing because I used to jump on roofs on purpose because I'm like, I need to challenge myself. Yeah. I need to do this, and I'll be like, fucking shaking and stuff.
I have a thing when it comes to fear. Like, I still, like, I'll say now, like, to the reason, not the reason, but there's so many. I want to be able to push out content every week, like an episode. But then sometimes there's a lot of people, I've got a list of people that I want to reach out to. Or like, and I know that, let's go do it. Or they would say yes. But then I don't know. It's not a fear. It's just like, and there's a lot of people that I also have that I'm unsure if they'll say yes or no. And I'm like, fuck, if I get rejected.
That's the point.
Yeah, you know what I mean?
The rejection is still a part of fear.
Yeah, for sure.
100%.
And I'm just like, just go do it. That's what I'm saying. Like, I deal with that as well.
I can guarantee you that anyone who has had any sort of success, if you asked them, do you have a list of people that rejected you, they would be able to show you.
100, thousands, everything.
100%.
Yeah.
Look, there's a lot of shots. There's a lot of companies I hit up all the time.
Yeah.
I think now, like, some didn't even call back. Someone left it on scene, all this stuff, But it doesn't. It's on to the next. You have to go through the process.
Just do it. I think there's one thing Who would you say inspired you growing up?
Growing up?
Yeah.
I don't think I had an inspiration. to be honest. I really didn't have anyone to be like, oh, you know what, I'd like to be like him. Honestly, I reckon I was about 23, 24 when I actually like snapped, and I was like, I want to do something. I want to make a lot of money. I want to do like it was more so a lifestyle. That's what people look at these days, is what sort of lifestyle do you want to live? You know, see people traveling the world, see people doing this, they're doing concerts, they're doing this, and doing that. Like, yeah, I don't think I had anyone growing up to be an inspiration. Again, I think it was just that surviving mentality, you know, having to chase that paper so you can pay bills, or you can just so you can eat. You know, some people don't get to that point, but for some, it is. You know.
Do you have any now?
Now, now I have a lot. I have a lot of. I can't even think at the top of my head right now who would be an inspiration. There's a lot of creators out there that live an amazing lifestyle, you know. They get paid around. Look, I would love to, you know, get paid to go around the world and do brands and to work with, you know. I'm not biased to any sort of thing of who I want to work with. I just have so much. All I'm thinking is, how much creativity can I create? That's all I'm thinking. Like, how many concepts can we think of? How much magic can we create? That's, you know, that's like, I feel like I'm living in a dream right now.
That's man.
And even though I swear,
and that's just, and you're just like starting.
I'm
you're
literally
like,
just getting started. I like it's crazy. Like, I did it part-time for a long time.
Yeah.
And now to actually be doing it pretty much on a full-time basis now, it's like I'm pinching myself.
Yeah.
But this is what I asked the universe for this. And you can ask the universe for anything you want. You just need to know how to. It's crazy. Like, the years of meditating, the years of affirmations, like, it's crazy what you tell yourself, what comes true. So, again, I've, like, it's as if I've literally just taken that first step, and I'm just like, wow, this is mad. You know?
Yeah.
But yeah, there's so many more steps to come. I promise. Like, I don't know what holds for me, but I can guarantee there's going to be some massive things happening. Yeah.
Speaking of manifesting and bringing things to life, let's talk about Angelica. Let's talk about. I remember when I first met her and you brought her over to the house, one of our parties. Just a little wild girl. You know, very shy.
Yeah.
Braces, I think.
Yeah, she had braces. She went through that, yeah.
And now, for people that don't know, everything that she's built, she's the founder of Baby Boo Fashion, for the girls that are listening and the guys that know that brand as well. Tell us more about Angelica, how much she inspires you, and the family, of course, like
look,
and her whole family.
I think it's, you know, it's a great example of what we were talking about when we were growing up. You know, you are a product of your environment.
For sure.
That's all it was. I fell in love, and the product of her and her family's influence, they were my environment, and they were all business-minded, entrepreneurial people. And again, even to this day, like, this is our normal conversations, business.
Yep.
Like, I wish we could talk so much more about, like, some of the moves and stuff that we make, but like, even to this day, like, we have conversations and we're talking about this, and in my head I'm like, I did not think I would ever, like, know someone that could even do something like this, let alone be a part of it.
Yep.
Let alone to sit in the same room to be able to do this. And
see
again,
it.
That's what I mean. Like, right now, there's so much inspiration on the internet, where when I first started going out with Arj, is, you know, and I literally watched right next to me how big she grew as a person, personally and business-wise. honestly, like it felt like I felt like in 5 years, like it just snapped of fingers, and I was just like, I went from here to like there. I'm like, whoa, like what just happened? Like, you know, even it's crazy. Like I still to this day think like, how am I like still here, like witnessing this? Like it's amazing to be a part of the journey with Arj. But she was my biggest. She's you know what? She's my biggest inspiration.
There you go. That was what I was waiting for.
You know what? You know what? Now
and I couldn't let it out.
Now you're gonna get me in trouble.
I thought that was, you know, when I asked the first one, I was like, I think he's gonna say.
You know
that.
why? Because I was thinking of
like
people in
idols.
in my
your space.
Yeah.
Because I should have given you an example to get your brain flowing, but
you fucked me up.
Look, mine. When I say.
No, it's all good. All good.
Oh, we will in a bit. More. Come here.
That's all right.
Yeah. You're in trouble now. Well, I was gonna no, because I should have said, like, you know, growing up, you know me, Kobe, Manny Pacquiao, like some of those guys. No one really in my my space, but just mentality and just how they were, like to reach the levels that they did. You know, Kobe, Mamba mentality. And then there's people that I know that, you know, I've always looked up to my dad, how good of a person, like how he is as a friend to other people. And my mum's hardworking, like literally does not stop. I think of that, and now how much Chelsea's inspired me to like pursue my passions and just be that guy I used to be when I was a kid, very curious and like always ask questions and always get along with the people. Yeah, when I asked you that question, I was like, I thought that was you're in trouble now.
Yeah, no, definitely.
Yeah.
Well, at least you made yourself look good.
That's what people always say. That's what I'm always trying to do.
Arj is my queen. She 100%. Even to this day, like she still pushes me in ways which you didn't think. You know, like some people see as a partner. I saw her as not just a partner, a lover, as a mentor sort of thing. So it's crazy to someone so small, so small, and you know, someone, you know, especially even younger than you, you know, to be able to be like, wow, like she did that, she made those moves, she did this, she did that, you know. Look, she's still doing amazing things. You know, definitely. Look, there's
a lot more to come. And when I think about it as well, and when I even just have talks with Chelsea about, because Chelsea, when she was in Perth, she knew Baby Boo, you know what I'm saying? Like she knew what it was. And I tell her all the time, like, man, I'm so proud of, like, I've watched, from afar, I watched what happened, from afar, I watched the brand grow. You know, I remember when I showed you that photo of the little business card with the shoe on it, And I'm like, from there, I remember when they were starting and she was making like little designs of the shoes and stuff, and to what it is now, it's crazy, and I'm very proud of you guys.
No, it is definitely crazy. It's funny though that even though, because we don't really share too much of our lives, so people don't really know. They just know the brand. Yeah,
but I'll get the whole family, and we needed this. I want to talk to them about just how it is for them working as basically a family business. There's a lot to learn off them, and
definitely. Yeah, definitely. Look, there's some fortunate people that have had the luck of being able to get, you know, to have had conversations, and it's helped to their own businesses.
Yeah, for sure.
But yeah, it's crazy ride. Like, I'm literally on a wave. Yeah. And it's like, I'm still riding, like this wave's still going.
Yeah, for sure. We're so young, bro.
It's funny though, like I go on shoots now and even when I go to places and, you know, and they hear about it or we speak about it and stuff, and they're looking at me like, why are you here? Like, why are you doing this?
Yeah,
like,
you're doing your own thing still.
Like, bro, I'm making my own name.
Yeah,
I'm not.
You could have, it's like KD in basketball, you could have jumped on the back of the bus. But that's good. Yeah. I also admire you doing that as well. You know, making your own way.
That's what I mean. Like, I'd love to be like, I want to be like, that's that Andricoo. I actually hope everyone in Sydney can actually pronounce Andricoo.
His name's Andre, bro. I call him Andre, bro. But yeah, Andricoo Productions.
He can't even say it right.
Andricoo.
And he's fucking, there we go.
Yeah, I gotta get Andricoo. Hey, I have to ask, going from, because I just want to know your thoughts, and it's very off topic. I just want to know, because we grew up together, we went to school together. We went to both primary and high school together. And
well, your parents said, wherever he goes,
yeah. Basically followed you. With the recent, what's happened in America, I want to know your thoughts with the recent mass shootings in that school, right? And I know it's very off topic, but I do want to know your thoughts on what you think about all those mass shootings that happened in the US, and it has not stopped. Apparently it's like they're up to 212 this year, and that one that just happened was in a primary school, and it was only an 18-year-old kid.
Look, it honestly comes down to the gun laws.
100%.
It's pretty obvious.
Yeah.
Like in Australia, don't get me wrong, you're going to get illegal guns everywhere in the world.
Yep.
But don't make it too easy.
It's too easy.
It's too easy.
And
and these kids, even honestly, I went to, where was I?
He was 18. The recent one. He was 18.
I went to Universal Studios in LA, and I was lining up for this ride, and I was talking to this little kid, right? Not just me, there was a whole group of us anyway. There was a young kid, and guns came up, and he was from somewhere in America, and we talked about guns, and I was like, yeah, I went to the shooting range, and for Aussies to go to a shooting range,
it's like a big deal.
It's crazy, right?
Yeah.
If any Americans are watching this, they'll be like, we have that for breakfast, but that's why you have the problem.
Yeah.
So, and this kid was telling me the guns that he was shooting. He would have been about 8 years old.
It's crazy, huh?
And even the shooting ranges that I have been to in States, in Vegas, Hawaii, and I've seen little kids shooting these massive, I don't even know what the guns are called. Over there, they know the 37, the 42, and they're probably, they have so much access to it. It's, it just takes one little, we're here, if there's a kid having some traumatic moment,
yeah, that's what they always say. They go, it's not the guns. It's like we need to secure our schools, or he had mental health problems. There's mental health problems here. No. They don't take out 30 people in one go at a shop or at a school or at a church. And that's where they are happening over there. In the most places where you don't think that you'll be vulnerable to those types of things.
I believe it is a lot tougher over there, but they do need to change it. But what can you do? It's a country that they're going to go have their
culture. Their culture is so ingrained to have those guns. But why do you need to have, like you were saying, an 8-year-old kid? Why do you need an AR-15? Those are war guns. Fair enough, a handgun to protect yourself. And that's if you break down here and show what happened in 96, there was a mass shooting in Tasmania. I don't know if Americans don't know about this, but there was a mass shooting in America. The next day, our Prime Minister back then, John Howard, took away all those, he regulated all those heavy artillery automatic rifles. He took all the rifles away, most of them, and you need a license, you need a background check, you need all that to just have a handgun and get a proper license. But I don't know why they're so scared to just do that over there. And they always say oh no, we need a Second Amendment. And if they wanted to change, they would have done it years ago, but it's not going to change. And it's so sad because we see it and it's a big deal.
Don't get me wrong, we have shootings here. And there are illegal stuff going around. Again,
but it's not mass.
It's reduced.
It's not mass.
You know what I mean?
Another one I think is, how about that kid, there was a kid a few years ago, he had mental health problems and he stabbed a sex worker. I don't know if you remember, in the CBD. No, and then he was knife wielding and he was running around. He was running around the CBD and stabbed another 1 or 2 people.
Actually,
and
I did hear about this. Yeah.
A whole bunch of people at the restaurants, office workers, chased him down with chairs, a milk crate. Someone stopped him with the milk crate, a chair, and they stopped him because he had a knife. Now, think of that. He had that mental health problem. Mental health is a problem, yes, of course. But imagine he's only 18, 19, and he was able to go to Costco and just grab a AR. how many people in Sydney
Yeah,
CBD?
it's
That's a
like
big difference
100%.
between a knife and an automatic rifle. Yes, he could have got a handgun, but it's not as easy. I don't know, and it's weird that Americans just don't see. A lot of them are just like, oh yeah, like they're so numb to it.
It is.
Yeah,
Well, look, again, like anything, if you're grown up with this the whole life, and it's like that's
it's
the
just normal. Yeah, it's in the culture. There needs to be a culture change before anything. Going back to you. Sorry I had to down it. I just wanted to know your thoughts.
No, that's all good.
And especially since I think it's a big deal
It is though.
that it needs to be talked about as well.
It does though.
Yeah.
This is it. You know, hopefully they never legalise it here.
And it's sad because like you see all the things on the news for a day. You're watching basketball and they talk about it and they're like, you know, thoughts and prayers. Yeah, it's thoughts and prayers for a day. Tomorrow on the timeline on Twitter, it's gone.
It's the power of the media though,
Yeah.
unfortunately.
What's your big picture plans? What's next for you?
I've got some things work.
Yep.
Don't like to reveal too much. Like they say, never let you know what your next move is.
Speaking of that, I recently just learnt in the past 2 weeks or so, telling people your plans or like letting people know like, oh, I want to do this, do that. Most of the time people don't care.
Just goes over their head. Yeah.
It goes over their head. Second, some people that you do tell kind of don't want to see that do well. And it's sad as humans. Like some people just like, they don't want to see that. The third thing, the one that really resonated with me was you tell people this and chemicals in your brain happen where, what's that chemical that? Endorphins happen in your brain for you. You say the plan, it feels like you've already done the plan. You've already accomplished it. So you won't even work towards it. Scientifically,
Yeah.
when you tell someone your plan, the endorphins are like, blah, 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 blah. And then you don't even work towards it anymore because you're like, the self-gratification was, I've told someone that I'm going to do this. The endorphins work, then it's just like, oh, I've already done it. And I just learnt that like a few weeks ago.
Yeah.
So I'm like, oh.
I think you can, if you take into that context, it will. But I think if you, like, don't get me wrong, like you need to tell yourself. I'm going to do this.
Yeah.
Yeah, 100%. Don't tell anyone.
Yeah.
Keep it to yourself until you've reached to what you're doing, and you'll keep going with these things. Again, I've learnt these things as well. You know, I told people I was doing things, and they never actually got to do it, or didn't make it. That's embarrassing.
Yeah, it is.
Straight out, like it's embarrassing. So
yeah.
I'd rather
Keep it to myself.
I'd just rather let my work show what it's doing, and it's great. Like seeing people's reactions and the way they think I'm doing and stuff like this. It's just leave it at that. We'll just keep the mouth shut and just work. That's all it is. You don't need to. Yeah, not to try and hold anything off. There's a lot of things in the works.
Yeah. That's good.
It's exciting.
Yep.
It's great. Like I'm super excited every week. I'm just like, mad. What do I get to create this week?
Yeah.
But
that's good.
There's a lot of things coming in the works, and when if you're ever looking at this and it's already happened, you'll be like, oh, that's what he was talking about.
Yeah, no, I love it. If you guys want to see all the things, so he doesn't need to say it. If you want to see everything, let them know where they can follow you.
Yeah, at Instagram, just Andricoo Productions. I think it's underscore. Yeah, Andricoo _Productions. You'll probably see 2 accounts on Instagram there. My private, and then my business page. Just follow my business page. My private, that's my private life.
What if they want to just follow you?
If you're lucky, if I know you, I'll accept you. But again, I like to keep it low key. Because I've seen so many things happen with people that boast a lot of things.
Yep.
But I like to keep a lot of things low key. But yeah, so just my business page, mate. I'll show everything that I'm. Maybe not everything, but most things you'll see that I'm working on. Crazy.
We'll wrap it up there, bro. I want to say thank you for your time, and I'm glad that we got to do this. Sit down, catch up, hang out the whole morning. We haven't done this in years.
Yeah.
And
many years.
Looking forward to seeing everything that you accomplish.
Yeah.
And also, I'm pretty sure hopefully we start working on a few things together.
That's it, bro.
Things will come together. And like I said, follow Andre on Andricoo, on Andricoo Productions, _productions, on his Instagram and Facebook. And you can follow me at Start Somewhere Media on YouTube, Instagram, Facebook. And make sure to hit the subscribe button and like this episode.
I'm on LinkedIn as well.
Oh yeah,
I'm on LinkedIn.
that too.
I know, I didn't realise how professional LinkedIn was. I've got a photo of me with blonde hair in Dubai.
Well, thanks, brother.
All
Thank
good.
you. Love it.
Number 2, cuz.